Reppin' Philly ain't a choice, it's a way of life. PhillyGoat.com is your one stop shop for Philly pride. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off. Look fresh, stay Philly, Philly Goat. Go Birds. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Brotherly Birds breakdown for Week 14 against the LA Chargers. We are the Montgomery Brothers. I'm Jim.
I'm Kyle. And look, we can't do this without doing the good old Chris Berman. They're not the LA Chargers. They will always be the San Diego Superchargers. Always. They're always the San Diego Chargers. That's it.
I love it.
That's it.
Did you notice I struggled? I caught myself. I almost said the San Diego Chargers.
Yeah. And that's why I shook my head. I was like, nope, they're always going to be the San Diego Chargers. Always.
That was a good song.
It was.
Felt like
it was. Chris Berman's the man. He's very, like, we talked about it on other podcasts too, man. Like, he's a voice of our childhood, you know, like like he's underrated for his football stuff, but then like you think about the home run derbies for baseball and the back gone. Like, that's Chris Berman. Like, people don't realize that. They don't put two and two together, but like he's just a staple, man. Like, his sound bites were like us growing up with him and Stuart Scott, where it's like every sports center there's a different sound bite, there's a different clip.
Oh,
and every Sunday,
Scott especially.
Dude, every Sunday too with NFL primetime at 7:00. You know, that started the whoop, like all those noises. Oh man, great times.
Well, that was a real song too.
Oh yeah,
that was from like back in the 70s, 80s. It's crazy. Like, I know we're going way off topic here, but like everybody had songs like that. Like, remember Buddy's Watching You and like Super Bowl Shuffle? Like, they need to get back to doing things like that.
Yeah, I think they should. I mean, look, the Eagles decided to make Christmas albums with their offensive linemen. What are you gonna do?
They're pretty good, though. I will give
them
that.
They are good.
They're pretty good.
They are good. You know, I wish that they could play better offensive line this year than sing Christmas albums, but you know, we'll get into that.
Yeah,
we'll get into it.
Well, let's get right into it then. Good segue there. Yeah. What happened on Black Friday?
They got outplayed, outcoached, out physical. Pretty much. I don't think that it was that they weren't prepared. I just think that they just got outplayed. I think, you know, like you heard these guys say that they wanted it more after the Dallas game. I think the Bears wanted it more on Black Friday.
Oh, totally.
I don't think I've seen offensive line and defensive line for the Eagles get dominated in that regard in the same game during the Nick Sirianni era. That was the first time I've seen it, and hopefully it's the last time we see it, because that was brutal.
No, I mean, that was I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they weren't ready or what, but Sirianni preaches the tough together detail, and this is now second game in a row, no detail whatsoever. I mean, first play of the game, AJ's offsides. Like, that is just, it's one thing if you're false starting as an offensive lineman. You're the wide receiver. All you need to do is look to your left or your right, wait for the ball to be snapped, and go. You shouldn't, unless you're going in motion, which he wasn't, you shouldn't be moving.
Especially because, like, the defensive backs are giving him, you know, him and Smitty usually 5 to 8 yards cushion. So, like,
yeah.
Do you really need that extra half second regardless? Like, what do you need that extra half second for? Especially with the vanilla routes that you're running. It's not them. It's just what's being called. Like, you're running the hitch routes. Like, do you really need that extra half second? Is it going to make a difference? The defensive back already knows where you're going, you know? So It's just dumb mistakes like that. The false starts on offensive line. It just doesn't make any sense to me, man. Like, they're just playing very undisciplined, and it's something that is not like a Sirianni coach team. It's not at all.
No, we talked about it last week with the Dallas game. It's like, it's not even like actual penalties that like occur during the play of the game, like, okay, a hold here or a push off or even hands to the face sometimes, like you get mixing it up. These are like mental pre-snap, like lining up in the wrong spot, two guys moving, like just unacceptable.
Well, and that falls on Jalen too, because like if you got two guys moving and then don't come to a complete set before the ball snapped, like wait till they come to a complete set before you ask for the ball. Like it's that's why like you can't blame it on just one person. Like the whole team is just struggling on offense right now. And look, against the Bears, the defense struggled a lot too. Like Vic Fangio made zero adjustments. Zero.
Right. No, I mean, I did not expect that. And I mean, I guess with the news of Jalen Carter having we'll get into that then, but shoulder surgery, procedures, whatever you want to call it. Like, I think that explains a lot, but where was everybody else? Like, they were gashing them. Like, it wasn't even remotely like they put up a fight.
No, the defense over pursued, and I mean that's exactly. Hopefully, the Sidney Brown experiment is done because the dude runs straight downhill, but he can't move side to side. So if he doesn't beeline it straight for you, and if he misses you, and you're like DeAndre Swift knew that because he obviously played with him, right? Like he's used to seeing him in practice
Right.
and knows his tendencies, and like he just lets him run by him, and then he goes. So like Sidney Brown's a great like hitter when it comes to that stuff if he can actually make contact, but he doesn't wrap up and he over pursues and he looked like a high school kid out there going against a pro on a couple of those throws to DJ Moore. Especially the one in the end zone. He looked silly
Yeah.
on that one. And thank God Caleb Williams is Caleb Williams. Otherwise that was a touchdown all day.
Oh, any other quarterback, like, you try to pull that this week against Justin Herbert, that's a touchdown,
Hands
especially
down.
with those receivers.
Yeah, hands down. Hands down. And it's you know, they gotta tighten it up. I think they just got outcoached all throughout the thing. I mean, Ben Johnson, you know, we always wanted to talk about the Lions had a chip on their shoulder and something to prove against the Eagles, and the Eagles handled them. Well, Ben Johnson was the offensive coordinator for the Lions. You don't think he still had a chip on his shoulder to prove that he's better and like they
My
were better?
offense is
So like
better than you.
his offense is better than Vic Fangio's defense. That's all you heard last year was Vic's defense was number one in the league. It's the dream matchup against Ben Johnson's offense. Well, Ben Johnson schemed something up that Vic had no answer for on Friday. He had no answer for it whatsoever.
No, and I mean, that's un-Vic like. Vic is usually good with making the adjustments in game at halftime, but, like, I just don't like, they all were just outcoached, out just it's almost like I said, like I've heard people say this and like I get it. They're coming out like arrogant almost. Like we're the Philadelphia Eagles, you're the Bears, bow down to us and just we're gonna impose our will. And I don't want to question their effort or heart because I don't like doing that without knowing, especially for a team that is right there still in the Super Bowl race. But it's almost like, and I saw it with Dallas too. Like, hey, we're coming into Dallas in the Kelly Green uniforms, and you're the Cowboys. We're just going to impose our will. And like those teams are like, no, we're going to fight back. And the Eagles, this is 2 weeks in a row now. They've had no answer for the counterpunch. Like I don't even think they came out and punched the Bears in the mouth at all. I think the Bears came out, punched them in the mouth, and the Eagles were like, now what do we do?
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, the it's one thing to come out arrogant, but then you have to back it up. And when they're not backing it up, that's the real problem, right? So like I have no problem. You're gonna come out with a chip on your shoulder and be arrogant because you are the defending champs, but like you also have to know every team you play this year is giving you their best because you are the defending
Yes,
champs. So whether you're saying this nonsense of we're not the defending champs, we don't look at it that way, blah blah blah, all that stuff. Whether you're thinking that, whether you're actually doing that or not, everybody else in the league is doing that. Everybody else, you have a target on your back, and it's clear that the last two games they against Dallas they lost that game. Dallas didn't win it; they lost it. They took their foot
I would
off the
agree.
pedal. The Bears just slapped them around, man, and it's very unlike this team because this team's identity has always been we're going to out physical you and we're going to break you down by the fourth quarter. Hasn't been that way in the last few weeks, and it definitely wasn't that way on Black Friday.
No, not at all. And I mean, it's almost like it backfired. Like I get where Nick was coming from. Focus on this year. Jalen says keep the main thing, one game at a time. But I think at some point you gotta have a little bit of that swag. Like think back to Buddy Ryan days. Buddy Ryan would have been making them like drop the banner before every home game. Like he would be like, just to remind you that we are the Super Bowl champs, and would have come out with that swag. This team is almost like, okay, guys, we're not going to do anything here, but we're the champs, so boo.
Yeah.
And
Yep. Yep. And it's now the hard knock stuff comes out, and Sirianni preaches like they all say it. Mailata comes out every week and says we don't listen to outside noise, we don't listen to outside noise, and then you see Sirianni and BG going, the sky's falling, the sky's falling, but we can't listen to that. Like you're clearly listening to it. You know what I mean? So like,
right,
plus as we talked about before, and we talked about it last week, and now the rumor was that there was media members fighting, right? So like, if the media members asking the exact same questions over and over and over and over again, like I commend Nick for not going, really, you're asking me the same shit every single week. Like it's the same answer. It's the same answer. It's always going to be the same answer. We could do their press conference right now without
one
that
hundred
game
percent,
even happening because we know what the reporters are going to ask and we know how he's going to answer it. It's the same stuff. And like the only difference between Jalen from week to week is what little, Aesop's fable he's going to pull out of
which
his
day of the
bag.
week it is in
Yeah,
his
which
book.
day of the week is he going to pull out some type of riddle and be like, the grass isn't always greener, but you got to water it or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like that's just he's gonna say something, and you're gonna be like, damn, he's like a philosopher up there. But then you realize he never answered the question. Like
No,
Nick does the same thing.
never.
Nick does the exact same thing. By the time he's done, you're like, well, wait a minute. He didn't even answer what they asked him.
What
He
was the
just went
question
around
again?
it. Yeah, he went around it. So like, I think it's laughable at this point where the media just I don't know. They keep asking the exact same question. And even in the same press conference, like 13 different people ask the same question 13 different ways. And he answers it the exact same way.
The exact same way.
It just
I
it
can't get
boggles
into
my
that.
mind. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I can't get in. That's X's and O's. I can't get into that. But we're
Yeah,
always evaluating.
yeah. We evaluate everything. Everything. It's nuts.
I don't know. I'd almost rather a coach sometimes be more like Buddy Ryan in those press conferences or Jim Mora. Like Jim Mora was absolute gold. Like
Oh, animated as
he
all hell. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, or
And
the
that
Dennis
but the same
Green
thing.
where he pounded the
Yeah.
podium. Like I occasionally you like to see that emotion, But and I get it. I mean, you're the face of the franchise basically when you're up there as the head coach. Like you're speaking on behalf of the leadership of the team, right? So I guess you have to be somewhat professional in those regards.
Right. But I mean they do. I mean, if you think back too, Jalen and Nick have essentially like I think personality wise, obviously off the field and whatnot is different. But when it comes to those press conferences, they're like right in line with each other, just the same way Andy and Donovan were. It was just
Yep.
you knew what you weren't getting anything out of them, but
And
time's
it's the same
yours.
thing
They
each
got to
week.
do a better
And
job.
well, and that's like you brought up Jalen Carter and like this mysterious procedure slash surgery. Like we're never gonna know what's going on. Like they don't tell you anything, and like they keep that very close to the vest. And I get it, but at the same time, like they say they want to have him ready for the playoffs. We got to make the playoffs first. Like it's not a foregone
Playoffs.
conclusion. I mean, last night the stupid Cowboys losing to the Lions obviously helps us a little bit more, right? It gives us a little bit more of a cushion, but like we can't look at it that way, and the Eagles can't look at it that way. We got to go out there and handle business that's in front of us because there still is an outside shot of us getting the one seed because of the tiebreakers we have over everybody.
Right.
So I just it just blows my mind how they can get around that. Like it's the same as like the hockey injuries where it's like, oh, it's an upper body injury. Well, what the hell does that mean? Like, is it shoulder? Is it the chest? Is it like what
Hangnail.
is it? Yeah, like is it his arm? Like it just upper body? Like that's a very vague thing. And you just go, oh yeah, it's shoulder procedures on both shoulders. Well, That's not like you take a shot of cortisone in each shoulder and that's the procedure. It obviously he
Right.
went under the knife in some way. So like what happened? You know?
And
Um,
why both? Like, that's
why
my
both at
main
the
point.
same time? Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. Like and they didn't put him on IR, which tells us he should be back within 4 weeks,
Mm,
which is good. But like you still don't know what's really going on.
a lot can happen in 4 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, it can. It can. As we know. As we know.
So, I guess, the other big story coming out of that game was the play calling. And look, I think Kevin Petula is an easy scapegoat. Like, oh, he's the new guy, like the wild card in all this because he wasn't here last year. But this offense has been the same. It's still Nick Sirianni's offense, and vanilla or not, scheming guys open or not, plays are there to be made. They're not making the plays. Like, they're not executing what's there. And like the only thing I'll say with play calling that, and I'm not taking Kevin Petula off of
Mhm.
the hot seat because he certainly shares in the blame. Because why were you not running the ball more with Saquon during that game?
Yep. Yep.
Like
And you
he
you and I were texting throughout the week on that. I mean, Saquon running to, the left, like, on Mailata's hip, off tackle, he was averaging like 7 yards a pop. Why don't you do that more? It's amazing what you do when you get him in space. He's obviously very great in space. You don't have to run it up the middle with him. I don't understand why they run it up the middle with him. With that's the weakest part of our offensive line right now is
right,
straight up the middle. So run it to the outside, get him in space, and let him do his thing. Uh, and even the design runs for Jalen, Jalen was averaging 7 yards every time he touched the ball when he was doing design runs. I mean, run the ball. Like obviously, play calling has been a little vanilla, yes, but they still need to execute what's being called. And if you're not setting up the pass with the run, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You know what I
right.
mean? You're not going to do much at all.
I mean, the recipe to me still should be the same as it was last year because there was no exotic plays last year. Remember
Yeah,
early, like in the season, we were like, how come they're not putting anybody in motion? Why is Jalen not under center? But they were executing the runs. And I think that's the difference. And they were executing the runs at the beginning of the game last week. Like,
yeah,
you should have
yep.
heard how the sarcastic cheer and everybody being like, "Oh my god, you can run the ball off tackle behind Jordan Mailata, and then look what happens." Like, and then you go right back into the middle and then have Jalen drop back 30 sometimes the rest of the game then.
It's not a recipe in today's NFL. It's very hard to win any game, not just with the Eagles, but any game having your quarterback throw 35, 40 times without an established run game. If you can't run the ball in the
Right.
NFL to set up the pass, you're not going to win a lot of your games, right? It's not like how it was when you had Brady, Manning, Drew Brees, prime Aaron Rodgers, where they could just sling it for 45 times a game, 50 times a game, like it was normal. They these quarterbacks don't do that, right? Stafford's probably the only one that's close, and he's getting old. So, and you saw what happened last week with him. He had 3 turnovers. So it's not made to do that way. And to your point, the only thing different between this year's offense and last year's offense were the 70-yard runs from Saquon. We're not getting the home runs like we did last year
Right.
because our offensive line's not opening up those holes enough to get him through because we're not running consistently enough so they're able to bring 8 in the box, right? And we're not executing on the passing plays so they don't fear that as much. And we're not calling run plays for Jalen. Last year we did call design runs for Jalen, so they weren't sure who was getting the ball.
The
This
past few
year,
years they've called them. Yeah.
right, and this year, everybody knows if Saquon's in the backfield on the left side of Jalen's hip, it's going to Saquon,
It's going
and it's usually going right up the middle, right? So
right.
that's where it's at.
No, and even that though, last year, a lot of those 70-yard runs happened in the second half because they spent the first half pounding it and mixing it up and keeping the defense guessing and making them tired and running it 10 times. And I don't know this off. I'm just kind of guessing from what I saw. I don't know if he ran the ball at all in the second half. Like, I think, like,
He
I
may have
can't.
once or twice, once or
Most of
twice.
those runs were in the first half.
Yep. Yep. And where's Tank Bigsby? Where's Tank?
Who? She's
Like,
on the
yeah,
team still?
yeah. I mean, I don't remember when we got AJ Dillon. Like, where are we with these guys? Like, they didn't
Quadzilla?
even they didn't even use Shipley, but like at least that's probably a good thing because everybody knows when Shipley comes in on offense, he's
He's
blocking.
getting the ball. Yeah.
He's either blocking or he's getting the ball like on a screen pass. Like that's it. Like he's not. You're not doing anything else with Shipley. So it's just it's the execution for me that really bothers me, and it starts with the offensive line. The offensive line just when you're Mailata and you're 6'8" and 340 pounds and you get pancaked as a tackle, dude, what are you doing?
Something's wrong.
What are you doing? Yeah, what are you doing? And the fact that like we have three guys on our offensive line that's in the top four in Pro Bowl voting, like what? What are we looking at? What are we looking at? And it's just and it's a sad cry for us because offensive line has been the strength of this team for almost a decade, right? It's always been a big
Longer than
strength of
that,
this
going
team.
back to
Yeah,
Andy Reid.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you go back to the Kelsey from when Kelsey got drafted until last year basically, or actually till this year. It's been the strength of the team. You build from the trenches, you build out, and like we've always had a solid offensive and defensive line. Offensive line this year is just not, and I get it. You had a historic run last year with the offensive line and Saquon, so you're bound to get some injuries and bound to get some fatigue from
Right.
that. But like,
They were
she,
relatively healthy last year.
absolutely they were absolutely. Lane missed a few games here and there, but like he's getting older, so that's going to happen. But like you know, these guys, Fred Johnson filling in for him last year, great. But Fred Johnson filling in for him this year, not so great.
Not so great.
And
Fred
that's
needs to
that's
be the
just how
sixth
it is.
guy.
Absolutely, and he's great at the sixth guy. When he's the tackle eligible, he's awesome. But when he has to be the starting tackle, it gets a little finicky.
Right. Well, so if the run game, like we see it, like the offensive line, and we've talked about this before, your offensive line coach is also the run game coordinator. Why is nobody getting, and like everybody keeps saying, oh, the offensive line needs to play better. But I never hear anybody criticizing Jeff Stoutland at this point, who I think is living right now basically on his reputation. Like he's
hundred
not,
percent, 100%. So he's living on past success, right? Everybody's Jeff Stoutland's the greatest offensive line coach. Well, what's the weakest part of our offense this year? And you're going to get a lot of Jalen haters say it's Jalen. Jalen's not playing horribly. He's not playing the greatest either, but he's not playing horribly. Our
no,
offensive line is not blocking as well as they should, given the talent that they have. And look, I know everybody's going to say injuries and this and that, and injuries happen on every team. I don't want to hear that shit, right? Injuries are part of the game, especially this late in the
yes.
season. Now, if you're Jeff Stoutland and you work on these projects, like, look, you took Mekhi Becton from the Jets and you turned him into a Pro Bowler last year. Awesome. Why can't you do that with anybody else? You're supposed to be the guru, right? And then
Stoutland,
we
you.
can't we can't run the ball, right? We can't run the ball. Well, guess who's the run game coordinator? It's Jeff Stoutland. So let's not throw everything at Kevin Patullo. And look, that's going to lead me into my 2 cents since I talked about throwing at Kevin Patullo. Can we talk about the
I
idiots
see
that
what you
threw
did there.
eggs at his house? Like, two kids and a wife this dude has. And he's an offensive coordinator and he's been with the Eagles for 5 years now. So we don't like the play calling. They've struggled on offense, so we think it's a good idea to throw eggs at this dude's house who's there with his family, right? So we wonder why Philly fans get the reputation we get because of idiots like this. I just want to go on record. That doesn't represent the entire fan base. These guys are
It does
idiots
not.
that did this on their own. That it's not something that we'll talk bad about you, we'll boo you, we'll talk shit and do all that stuff. We're not going to throw eggs at your house or put your family in danger. That's just dumb.
No.
It's absolutely idiotic to do, especially over play calling. You and I joked about this last week, I think it was, or like through the text. They're like, get creative, put a playbook on his
Yeah, I
doorstep.
was gonna
You know
say
what I mean?
that would have been funny. Nobody gets hurt, and it's like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. But
Right.
yeah,
But
I
like,
mean,
and it's just as you said, like everybody's to blame on this, right? It's not just Kevin Patullo. Everybody shares the blame from Howie all the way down. Howie's part to blame for this because he thought it was a good idea. He put a lot of trust in Steen by not bringing Becton back. Dean's
Yep.
not played well this year. He put a lot of trust in Jurgens. Jurgens has been banged up this year. He put a lot of trust in Lane Johnson, thinking he was going to play the whole year healthy, and they didn't fill the depth in the offensive line. He didn't
No.
back it up like he normally did. What's helped us in the years past is we always had the next man up mentality, where if somebody did go down, somebody almost equal caliber filled right in, and you didn't skip a beat. We
You
don't
didn't
have
miss a
that
beat.
this year. Right. It's a significant drop off now, and that starts with him. It also goes to Stoutland, but it also goes with Nick too. Like the whole coaching staff is to blame for this. It's not anybody else, right? So you can't single out one coach without blaming them all. So if you're going to egg his house, you got to look in the mirror with this as fans, man. Like it's stupid, it's uncalled for, and it's something that didn't need to happen. And
And what does it accomplish?
it accomplishes nothing except that these kids are going to go on and go, "Oh, remember when Petullo's egg got or his house got egged? I was the one that did
That was
that. Isn't
me.
that fun?" Yeah, like nobody's going to give you a high five for that. You're an idiot. And I hope if the Eagles find out who it is, they ban them and they're never allowed in the Eagle Stadium. I hope that's the consequence they
Get
get.
Big Dom on it. Big Dom will
Uh,
find them.
I'm sure you already have. Again, they keep everything close to the vest. You're not going to hear anything about it, but I guarantee you they've already found them.
No.
Guarantee you they already know who
Yeah.
it was. But like that's a
And
felony. That's a vandalism felony. Like these kids could have screwed their whole lives up by trying to be funny and do a prank.
being
There's one
funny.
thing to do pranks. There's another thing to take it across the line and attack somebody's house where their family lives. You know what I mean? Like when you put families
Yeah.
in danger, that's a different element, man.
And especially because knowing how, I mean, if these kids in this neighborhood are going to throw eggs at your house while your family's in there, they're probably the same kids or their parent, whatever, that are going after his kids in school. Like, your dad sucks. Your dad's not doing this. And it's like,
Right.
that should never happen. Like, I mean, I get that you're frustrated, but you're blaming the wrong person. Like, it's just easy because, God forbid, Jalen won us the Super Bowl. I've heard it 1,000 times this week. He was the Super Bowl MVP. Okay, that's great, but that doesn't mean he's immune from being criticized. Nick Sirianni, Super Bowl winning coach, and you've said it too, greatest coach in Eagles history. I don't disagree with that. Doesn't mean you're immune from
Correct.
criticism. I mean, Bill Belichick was criticized in New England. Tom Brady was criticized. You think they weren't upset during that lull in between the two runs during that dynasty? They were pissed off getting criticized. Oh, they can't beat Peyton Manning. They can't do this. They're losing to Ben Roethlisberger. Like, it goes both ways. And to put it just on that one person is ridiculous because nobody has a problem saying Jalen Hurts is not a top 10 quarterback. He's not elite. He's not this. But when it's saying he's not playing well, it's the play calling. Well,
Right.
sure, it's part of it, but Jalen turned the ball over 2 times last week, which is very un-Jalen like. But
Patullo's
we
not the
we gotta
one making bad
criticize
throws.
Petulla.
You know what I mean? So
No,
like we say this in baseball all the time. Like everybody criticizes Rob Thompson. Rob Thompson's not out there pitching and giving up home run balls. So like
right.
that's not on Rob Thompson. Like I understand that you don't like his lineup, but he's not the one pitching and giving up a 3-run home run. So like Patullo calls the play, execute the play. If the players aren't executing it, you can't go, well, that was a bad play. How do you know? Because they didn't execute it. You know what I mean? So
Especially
like
if it's
how
a
can
vanilla play.
correct. It's
How
easy.
can you can't execute a simple play, how are you gonna implement
Right.
something more complex?
And I think that's what the common fan and like some of these fans get so enamored with is like, oh, we don't do this enough. Well, maybe they can't because they can't even do the normal shit right. So like, why would we do
Right.
something like, you go back to the Super Bowl year with Nick Foles in the NFC Championship game with that flea flicker that he threw to Torrey Smith. We can't do that shit right now because we can't
Oh my
run the
god,
ball.
like,
Nobody's going to think we
it'd
can
be a
run the
12
ball.
12-yard loss.
Or a fumble and it gets scooped up for a touchdown the other
Right.
way. You know what I mean? So I just we got to look in everybody in the entirety of this, and as Jalen likes to say, it's the collective. It is the collective on offense. It's everybody from the top down, and what Hard Knocks has shown is that Jalen does take accountability. He does talk to his receivers, and he does talk to his offensive line, so we can squash that now. But to your point, just because he takes accountability and it's shown on national television doesn't let him off the hook for not making that
No.
throw. If you make that throw, that game changes its whole complexion. It changes the whole dynamic of that game if you make that throw and he walks in for a touchdown.
Right. And I mean, even like the interception, okay, like he was trying to make, like, I'm fine with that. But the tush push fumble, the whole demeanor of that team changed. They were just like, it was deflating, which I get. Like, you're not used to seeing Jalen do that. But I feel like that was the play that just completely, even though, like, mathematically, I guess you could say they were still in it, they were just deflated at that point.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's two things that I want to say about the touch push, right? Number one, you could tell Kelsey was the spearhead behind the touch push. They
Yep.
haven't been the same running it since Kelsey retired. Let's just be real about it. They've been successful, but they haven't been as successful once Kelsey retired. That's number
No, it
one.
was like 90% they would get it when he
92,
was there.
92%, because that's what they call their fan base on their podcast, the 92 percenters, because of that, right? That's number one. Number two, they can't run it without Lane Johnson in there too. And
Yeah.
when Lane Johnson's out, they struggle tremendously. So, they've already come out and said that they don't practice it. Well, maybe you should if you're going to run it in those big time situations,
Especially
or
in a
just
big
run a normal sneak. Your quarterback squats 600 pounds. I'm sure he'd be able to do it. He's already come out and said before, when you get pushed from behind like that, you don't have control over that ball. Like you don't have control over your body at that point. So it does
right.
make it a little more tough. So I just think in those situations, stop running the touch push if you don't have a healthy offensive line and utilize Saquon. Utilize him. That's what you got him and Jalen Hurts for. They each squat 600 pounds. Let them do their thing.
Imagine that.
It's crazy, you know?
That would be a time to maybe run Saquon into the line and see if he can push the pile, not on 1st and 10.
Right, right. I don't get it. And look, we talked about this during the Andy Reid era when you and I were, loving this team, and we talked about Westbrook the other day. It's okay to run a screen pass every now and then. You're allowed to. Like, you're not going to get flagged for it. You can run a
Are
screen
you?
pass. It's in
I
the
thought they
playbook.
changed the
Yeah.
rule.
Oh, no, you saw the Lions. The Lions did a lot of that last night with Jahmyr Gibbs in the open field. And look, you don't think that Saquon can be like that? Remember what he did in the open field against the Jaguars last year? Reverse hurdle. Like, he's doing ungodly things if he's in the open field with spin moves and everything else. Give the guy the ball in the open field and see what he can do.
It's
I don't
amazing.
get it.
By the way, quick plug. Today is the anniversary of the Donovan McNabb game where he threw for 400 yards, 5 touchdowns in the first half. 3 of them went to Brian Westbrook. 2 of them were on screen passes. The third was on a fake screen that Westbrook went down the sideline and McNabb just dropped it in perfect. So it does work if you run it, guys. Like, we were
So,
spoiled, I think, with
Patullo,
Andy on that.
Nick, maybe you should watch the video of that game and learn a little bit because you have a running back that can do that. You have a quarterback that can make those throws, and you have an offensive line that if you get them in space, they can block too.
They can
So,
flatten people.
just saying, maybe take a page out of Andy's playbook with that and learn a little bit. You know what I mean? It's just amazing.
Time's yours.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah, time's yours. Time's yours.
It is. So speaking of blame too, and if we're going to put blame on people, you kind of mentioned this before, but Vic Fangio, why did Jahad Campbell not get any snaps in this game? I get that Nakobe Dean is good against the run, but he was not good against the run on Friday. So why not get Jahad some reps in there to see maybe if he can get some experience? Like, I kind of thought about it like the end of your bench in a blowout in basketball. You get those guys in there, everybody cheers for the guy to make a basket. Jahad couldn't have done any worse than Nakobe Dean was doing in there.
No, I mean, look, Ben Johnson out schemed him. Vic had zero answer for anything, and he came out and basically said that. He said Nakobe's better against the run, so that's why it was hard to get Jahad in there. And on top of that, he didn't come out and say it, but the tone that I got from that was the fact that he didn't know what was a run and what was a pass. So he didn't know because the formations were the same. Imagine that. You have the same formation and you run different plays out of it. It's a crazy thing that you can do if your quarterback goes under center. But
Right.
we're hearing all these things, and look, Jalen doesn't want more design runs. He doesn't want to play under center. He doesn't want to throw the ball over the middle. We're hearing all that all the time, right? Well, then Jeffrey needs to have a conversation with him. Howie needs a conversation with him and just say, "Hey, we're paying you X amount of money, and you say the main thing is the main thing to win. These are the things you got to do to win. Figure it out."
How about you keep the main thing the main thing?
Right.
Yeah,
Figure it
I
out. They got to
I
have that
totally agree.
conversation. And it can't wait till next year. They need to give him a call and be like, "Hey, come up to the office. Let's have a chat." Because if he's
I
really
mean, Jeffrey
saying
Lurie
that,
went down on yeah, I mean, he went down on the field and talked to AJ.
right.
Like, why can't you have that? If you don't want to embarrass him, call him up into your office then.
And if you don't want to have that conversation with him, give Jordan a call because he answers that phone call.
Yeah.
Have Jordan have the conversation with him
He's
because
in court
Jordan would
right now,
do
though. He's in
well.
court.
Yeah, well, Jordan used to do anything it took to win, right? And that's what
Yes.
Jalen says. Winning's the main thing. Winning's all that matters. I agree with him. Winning's all that matters. So win. This is what happens when you
Yeah.
don't. Like, I heard people all week commenting on our posts and saying that we're a spoiled fan base. I don't think we're spoiled at all
Oh, that dude was
because
going in on you.
he was trying, but like he doesn't understand the fact that like we're in our 40s and we've seen a lot of downtime. So to call us spoiled is a bunch of shit. We all
More
know it,
down times than
right?
up times.
Exactly. And we're just sitting here with higher expectations for our team. Yeah, but you're 8-4. Yeah, we are 8-4. We should be 10-2 though. That's what it is.
Absolutely.
We should be 10-2, but we could be 3-9. That's the reality of it. Bounces here, bounces there. That's just how the game works. But at the end of the day, we lost 2 games this year that we should have won. We should have won. We gave them up.
Easily.
We gave them
Yeah.
up, right? So I just, at the end of the day, I mean, the Bears whooped us and the Giants whooped us. Um, Other than that, we should have won the other 2. We should have won the Denver game because we gave that up, and we should have won the Dallas game. We gave that up,
Which we gave
right?
up.
And look, at the end of the day, we were still in the game against the Bears. The Bears didn't like blow us out. We were still in the
No.
game. They just made dumb decisions down the stretch again, and they didn't execute.
No. Last thing before we kind of shift gears a little bit. Why was Nick going for 2 points there in the fourth quarter instead of kicking the extra point? And
Analytics, I guess. He said that anytime that he's in that position, he'll go for 2. I don't get it. I mean, I would kick the extra point so you're within 1 score.
I want to see the analytics sheet because nothing about that makes sense because you
I don't know.
essentially ended the game.
Pretty much. I mean, and that was the same thing. Like, whenever he says the analytics, I always picture Sean Payton saying that. Like, it's a Sean Payton thing to me. Like when he was with the Saints.
Yeah.
Well, the analytics would tell you. Like, I don't care about the analytics. Go with your gut. Like, you need something here to like have your team fight for something. So if you're within 8 points, that's 1 score and a 2-point conversion. Now you're down 9 because you didn't get it. And
9.
if you're going to go for 2, call a better play. Call a better play than
That
that.
was the
Like, I
yeah.
just I don't get it. I don't get it, man. And like, it made no sense to me. It ended up didn't matter anyway because we can't make a field goal with 13 seconds left into the wind. Shocker, right? And it's
Which
I don't
at
know
that
what.
point, why not just go for the touchdown at that point? Like,
Right, you're right. I mean, look,
like
I will say this. I mean, it does as a Cowboys fan. I'm sure there's fans out there that watched that game last night. No matter where Aubrey lines up from, you're like, it's good. 63,
yeah,
it's good. 58, it's good. It doesn't matter. It's going straight down the middle every time. The dude's automatic, and if he continues along this path, he'll be the greatest kicker in NFL history. It won't even be close.
oh yeah.
Won't even be close. And it's just, and then we sit there with Jake Elliott, and we're like, oh, Jake's gonna make this one. Nope, he missed an extra point. How do you miss an extra point? Like
And then
you
come
don't
back and
realize
kick
how
like a
big of a
55-yarder.
but you don't realize how big of a momentum switch that game or that extra point was. Like, the Bears just gave up a touchdown to tie the game, and then you missed the extra point. Like, that's huge. They still had the lead. Like, if you tie it
And
there,
they're like,
you
all
take all
right.
the wind from them. Right. You take all the momentum from them. You take their enthusiasm out, and you probably still win that game. But that missed extra point was probably one of the key turning points of
But
that
it
game.
showed though, because they were confident, like they were still confident defensively after that. They're like, all right. I don't
Yep.
know.
Yep.
So I guess with all of the issues and blame and lack of execution and whatever you want to call it. Can they fix this right now? Like they are 8-4, especially after the Cowboys lost last night. They legitimately still have a shot at the number 1 seed if they can fix it. But can they?
Yeah, I'm gonna channel my inner Jordan Mailata here. I think they're one block away, right? I think they're close. I think they're look, Jalen threw that ball behind him because he thought he was gonna stop. It was a miscommunication type thing. I don't think now it is a little concerning that in week 13 you're still having those types of miscommunications, but the fact that they talked
Right.
about it, I don't think they're gonna have that type of miscommunication moving forward. Um, so you execute that, you execute a couple more of these run blocks, you're right in that game. You probably score another touchdown and a field goal or 2 touchdowns at that point. So you probably end up winning the game. So I think they're close. Um, you know, we've said it all year. They're 8-4 and they haven't put together a full game on offense. So I do think that it's
No.
fixable. And I do think that but I don't think they're averaging 30 points a game for the next 5 games. I think they're going to win some of these games, but I think they'll win ugly, you know?
But I mean, that's okay. At this point, at this stage in the season, it doesn't really matter how it looks. I mean, think about the 2017 team after Carson Wentz went down. Those games were all ugly. Even the first playoff game was ugly.
Mhm.
But then they were able to turn. And really, you just need to get hot for a short stretch and go on a run.
Look, you just got to stack wins, man, and they got to get this win Monday to get some confidence back, basically, because I feel like they're playing tight because and I think going out to LA is going to help them to kind of get away from the media, get away from the fans a little bit. And I hate saying that, but like as well as I do, after he missed that throw, everybody was booing already in the first quarter,
Oh, it
and it's
was it
like
was early, like early and often
tense.
the booze were happening.
Yeah, tense. So I think it'll be good for them to kind of get away for a little bit, have this mini bye, and I think this is a perfect recipe for them to kind of flip it around.
All right, absolutely. I mean, I agree. I mean, I know last week or earlier this week, I'm like, I'm done with them. I don't think they can do it. But I can't give up on I can't quit this team yet. I can't quit them.
Yeah.
Because I see so much like the potential is there. Like I don't know. Like logically, I'm like, all right, there's nothing that
Yep.
basing this on absolutely nothing but just like a gut feeling. I mentioned it on the other podcast, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't have used that analogy. But I'm like, I feel like R. Kelly. Like my mind keeps telling me no, but man.
Oof.
And then I was like, maybe shouldn't use that analogy. But
That's a tough
the
one.
song, not the
Yeah. Yeah.
man, the
Yeah.
song.
Yeah, look, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up. Uh, I brought this up on our last week's episode before Nick Foles brought it up on his podcast. But I did say that I love the fact that Vic Fangio is in the box because he can see the plays happen and make those real time adjustments because he sees the whole field. That maybe Patullo should go up there and go back in the box and do the exact same thing. Well, a Super Bowl MVP and Super Bowl winning quarterback shared the same sentiments and shared the same insights that I did. So, Nick Foles, I know you're probably not listening, but if you are, we're right there, brother. We're right there. We're listening
Call
and,
us.
and
You
we're
can come
thinking the same.
on.
Yeah. Come on in, man. Come on in. We obviously have similar mentalities when it comes to this stuff. So we'd love to chop it up with you, brother. We'd love to chop it up with you.
See, I'm going to disagree with you on one thing. I think he is listening. I think that's where he got the take because it was almost word for word exactly what you said.
It
So,
really was.
Nick, call us. We're glad to have you on, buddy.
We won't make you
Thanks for the Super
uncomfortable,
Bowl.
buddy. We'll just have you, sign a couple things for us and talk to our kids a little bit. But other than that, well, you'll be fine, buddy. You'll be fine.
Yeah, no, I promise. But I did hear they did ask Kevin Petula before we get into last week's competition, which I don't even know if we should. But they did ask Kevin Petula. I forget who did at his press conference, and he basically said, "I've never been in the booth." He said, "I haven't been in the booth since I've been here with the Eagles. I like being able to communicate with the guys on the sideline. So he shot it down real quick. So he's not going into the booth. But I still think, I mean, you know how high our seats are. I I think you can see a lot from up there. And
Yeah.
if even if you're seeing the blocking schemes where the guys are, maybe you can call in off tackles more.
Yeah, well, he would see it. He would see it develop, and he would see the holes there, that it's there every time. But, you know, worst
Oh
case
well.
scenario, put somebody up in the booth that can radio down to him and
Right.
say, "Hey, you should call this," you know? Somebody gotta be up there to
Well,
be
there
able to see
should
that
be,
stuff.
I feel like there should be though. Like that's, and if there's not, that's just ridiculous. And if there is, what are you seeing that you're not
Mm,
relaying what you should
yeah.
be?
Is your walkie-talkie broke? Like, does it not work? Do we need the rotary phone to call
Like
back down onto the sideline?
right. Like the microphone yesterday. Like
Yeah,
it just
yeah, yeah. Just stop working. Tapped out.
all
Tapped
right.
out.
So so not a good showing by either of us. AJ Brown saved the day for us. I
Yay.
had him for
AJ
80
got his
yards.
yards. AJ got his stats. Yay.
You had him for 100 yards and a touchdown. Another tie, 4-5-3. I'm inching back. I'm slowly not
We're
really
gonna have more
helping the winning
ties.
percentage at all.
Yeah, we're gonna have
I'm going
more
to have more
ties
ties
than
than wins.
yeah, there you go. I like it. I like it.
But yeah, I mean, AJ got his numbers, so super.
It's all that matters, right? It's all that matters.
Glad he's happy.
Yeah, yeah. You haven't heard much from him the last couple of weeks, have you? It's crazy how that works.
Just,
Crazy how that works.
I'm just saying.
Mm.
All right, so Chargers.
Yep.
They're an intriguing team. I think they have a lot of talent, and I think the Herbert injury definitely throws a wrench in that. But I I can't see, like, they haven't ruled him out yet. I feel like if he wasn't going to play, it would be obvious that he wasn't going to play.
He's playing. There's no way he's not playing. I'll be shocked if he doesn't play. I mean, it's a Monday night game, so he gets an extra day to rest and an extra day to get used to having a big padded glove on his non-throwing hand. It's his non-throwing hand. So
Right.
as long as he can somehow hand the ball off and like do stuff like that, he'll play. If that becomes an issue where there's a risk of fumble, which look, for the Eagles, that's going to be great because there is going to be a chance for fumbling. But
Yes.
I I don't think there's any chance he doesn't play. The dude's he's a tough guy. He really is. He's a tough
He
quarterback.
is.
So I don't think there's any chance he's not playing. And the Eagles have to come out and prepare for him. Prepare for this team as if he is playing.
No, I mean, I almost hope he can't hand the ball off because after seeing what I saw on Friday, I mean, I haven't heard anything officially yet today, but Hampton might be back. Like it, they could
Yeah.
have two 100-yard rushers again.
Ugh. I mean, I'll take two 100-yard rushers as long as Herbert throws for 40 yards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
I
would
can't
take
have it
that too.
all. But look, we know what
So
we're gonna get. We know what we're gonna get out of that team because you're a Harbaugh guy. Harbaugh was at Michigan. They run the ball. Like they're gonna run the ball. Even though they have
yeah,
Herbert, they're 60-40 run the pass. Like that's what they want to do. They wanna
Michigan had
pound it.
JJ McCarthy and it was
Right.
60-40.
They want to pound the ball, run the clock, and control the game, and then pass when they need to. Like that's what they want to do, and that's what they do. You know, so it'll be it'll be a challenge, man. They definitely have some weapons with McConkey, Quentin Johnston, and your boy Keenan, the ageless Keenan Allen, and
Keenan,
then let's not forget about Gratson, the tight end, man. He's pretty solid too. So it's gonna be
he's
it's
been
gonna
a
be tough.
stud for me in fantasy.
I
So
was gonna say, yeah, yeah, he's definitely a top 10 scorer, I think, in fantasy, or pretty close to that all year. So he's not going to be an easy one to kind of shut down either.
right. So if you're Vic Fangio, do you go after the hand? Like if you get a chance to swat at a ball, do you accidentally miss and hit him in that hand?
I don't think it's accidental. I mean, yeah, you have to. I don't think it's dirty to if somebody's going out there with a broken hand and they're going out there with something like a glove on their hand. that means that you know that there's a chance that they're going to come after your hand.
You
Like
might
you
as well
know
put a
that
target on it.
like yeah, so I'm not saying they have to be dirty and if he's on the ground, step on his hand. Like don't do shit like that.
Right.
Don't
No,
be a
no, no. I'm
dirty
not saying
team.
that. But if you're going for like a
Yeah.
sack, like,
Oh yeah, you definitely slap because you're trying to knock the ball out of his hands anyway. So like you're gonna slap at him. They
right.
do that now with two good hands. So I think if you're Vic, you definitely kind of coach him up on that and coach these guys like whenever Herbert has the ball and you're going in for a sack, keep your hands active. Like punch his hands, smack his hands, do whatever you got to do to try to get that ball out. Yeah, absolutely. You coach that this week for sure. It's going to be a challenge without Jalen Carter in there.
It is. It is. But somebody's got to step up. And I mean, you mentioned Sidney Brown earlier, but I did see that Marcus Epps, his practice window is open. So,
Yep.
what do
Yep.
you think he's going to play?
Yeah, they when they asked Nick Fangio about it, they asked if he was back and if he would likely start, or if he would play and if he'd likely start, and then how does he feel about the Sidney Brown situation? And he answered yes to if he's going to play, yes that he'll likely start, and he said, uh, just like anybody, I think there was definitely room for improvement on Black Friday when he talked about Sidney Brown. So we get it. I think we're all in agreement there. None of us are going to be like,
He ain't lying.
nah. Yeah. So but I'm glad that he addressed it, and glad to have Marcus Epps back to kind of solidify a little bit in that secondary. Because if you remember, Makuba never started until Marcus Epps went out. Marcus Epps was the starter for the first four weeks
Yes.
of the
Yep.
season, and then he went out, and Makuba got the nod. So Makuba would always come in nickel packages, kind of help because we didn't have Michael Carter. We didn't have him, so it would always be Coop,
Yeah.
and then so I like what they're doing. And hopefully Marcus Epps kind of gives them that little spark that they need in that secondary. So Q's not out there on an island and Cooper's trying to play six different positions.
I hope so. But no, I mean, I just, my biggest fear is that it's going to be the Bears laid out the blueprint. And I mean, granted, that was unlike how the Eagles have played defense all year. So maybe it's a one off, one of those games where the offense needed to pick up the defense and they just didn't do it. And the defense will come back out. I feel like they will. I think it's more of a pride thing. So hopefully they didn't expose something that all of a sudden everybody's going to be pulling a Ben Johnson. But then again, not everybody is Ben Johnson.
Yeah, let's not act like the Bears scored 40 on them because they didn't. You know what I mean? Like let's not act like they scored 40. They
Yeah,
ran the ball, but they couldn't pass the ball either. So like the way the Eagles defense has always been, you're either going to do one or the other. You don't usually do both in the same game. Like that's the way it's the bend but don't break style of defense where you might get your yards rushing, but you're not going to get them passing then, and then you might get your yards passing, but then we're going to shut down the run. Like that's the way Vic
right.
kind of is, and I think he's going to come out. That was an embarrassment for him too, so I think he's going to come out with a better game plan for sure.
He has to. All right, so let's get into three keys. You want me to go first, or you want to go first?
Let me go. I'll go. So first key for me is gotta get the run game going, man. The run blocking, run game in general, and Saquon. Um, I think Saquon's gonna have a good game. I think he's gonna, he plays well in that stadium. Obviously, that was his career high
He
last
does.
year with 255. I could see that happening again. Not 255, but I could see him having a breakout game. I think the offensive line is tired of hearing that they suck even though it's the truth. And I think we're all tired of hearing Jordan Mailata every week say that they're one block away. Just make the damn
One
block.
block away.
Make the damn block and spring him for one, right? So that's the first key. Second key, the offense. Just get the offense going. Get it going. Whatever that means and whatever that takes, just get it going, right? Design runs for Jalen for 20 yards, passes over the middle to Dallas Goddard, out routes to Devontae and eight, whatever you need to do to get it going, just get it going. Get it going because you have the talent there. All you need to do is execute. So let's get it going. Let's execute. Um, if they do that, they'll have a good chance at winning. And then the third key is just the defensive discipline, run defense. We can't get gashed like we did on Black Friday, but the discipline as a whole, as we talked about with over pursuing, you get so excited to try to make a play that you run right by the guy. You can't do that, especially against this team with all the weapons they have. You know, you're not going up against the I can't even say the Giants, but like you're not going up against the Giants with their receivers right now. You know, these
These
guys
guys are
are
good.
these guys are much better than the third stringers for the Giants. Because let's be honest, like with neighbors out, the Giants just don't have top notch guys. They have solid guys. They have
Darius
NFL
Slayton.
caliber, but they're not. Yeah, they're not Lad McConkey, Quentin Johnston, and Keenan Allen. They're not.
No,
So they have three solid guys, and like I said, the tight end. So the defense needs to stay disciplined. Don't make dumb mistakes, and I think it may actually help them with the mistakes and keep them focused. The fact that Jalen Carter is out, because now they all know they got to step up.
you got like the backup quarterback or backup goalie kind of mentality.
Yep, yep. You got to step up, man. Step up or get stepped on. And last week they all got stepped on, so now you got to step up.
They all got stepped on.
Yep, yep,
No, I agree. And, I mean, and my first key, same as yours. I think you got to run the ball. If there is a weakness to the Chargers defense, it is their run defense. So the yards are going to be there. You got to do it, but don't give up on it. I think that's the key. And truthfully, I think it only takes one long run. Like give me like a 30, 40, 50-yard run. Doesn't even have to be a touchdown just to get that confidence back and kind of rekindle that like, all right, we can do it. But I think you have to run the ball and like, I don't, it doesn't matter who it is, whether it's Saquon, whether it's Tank, if you want to run Shipley, you want to Quadzilla, whoever, you've got to run the ball. And I do think it's going to be one of those things that snowballs. So once they get the first one, like you said, Jordan, make that block. Once you make that block, I think they're going to be like, oh yeah. And I'm hoping anyway that that's kind of what they think. They're like, we can do this.
yep,
Um, Secondly, on defense was pretty similar too. Going back to my boy Bill Belichick, do your job, fill your gaps, keep contained. Don't worry about what the guy's doing next to you is doing. Do what you're supposed to do. And if Sidney Brown, if Marcus Ebb is playing, I think that's going to help. But don't try to be the hero. You don't have to be. Do what you're supposed to do. And I think that's where things got off track the past two games because even Jalen Phillips in the Dallas game, he missed a couple. Like they ran at his side because he was trying to go after a sack and lost contained. So just do your job. Like it's very simple, but like Bill Belichick was a very
yep.
simple kind of guy. Do your
Right.
job and everything will be fine.
Yep.
And then third is on Jalen. You sort of mentioned and alluded to this guy earlier. It's his mentor. It's his boy. He goes on vacation to Greece with him. He needs to channel his inner MJ. And listen, Jordan would put that Bulls team on his back when they needed to, whether they were down 20 points in the fourth quarter, 10 points with 5 minutes, whatever it was. He would just say, all right, I got this. That's the kind of game I need out of Jalen. I need him to, if it means running 15 times, run 15 times. If it means throwing over the middle, throw over the middle. If it means throwing a screen pass and calling an audible to a play that's not even in the playbook, that's what he has to do. So he needs to be Michael Jordan on Monday night and just not like from a talent perspective, but just that mindset, that Kobe Bryant Mamba mentality. Just go out there and do whatever it takes and essentially keep the main thing the main thing.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. I think that's spot on, man. Spot on for sure.
And with that being said, my pick for player of the game is Jalen Hurts because I think we've seen it all the time with him when adversity, people are like, whether or not he's going to tell you he's listened, he knows what's going on. He hears it. He knows he probably has tapes and newspaper clippings in his gym or whatever at home, and he probably just sits there and hyper focuses on it. I think he comes out and has himself a monster game.
Love it. Love it, man. I hope so. I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go with the defense. I'm going with Quinion. Quignon's been the best player on defense all year, arguably one of the best players in the NFL on defense. But I think he's going to shut down somebody on the defensive side of the ball. Whether it's who knows who he's going to be guarding, whether it's Quentin Johnston, Ladd, or Keenan Allen. He's going to shut one of them down, and he's going to get either a pick or he's going to get a big pass breakup in a big spot, and really come through for them and help them out. So I got Q being the player of the game.
I can see that totally. What about other fantasy stars?
Fantasy stars for me, we both touched on it, but Jalen, I think Jalen's going to have a decent game. 3 total touchdowns. I think he's going to have two passing, and he's going to run one in. I think Smitty this week gets to 75 yards and a touchdown. Um, Something about LA for him. I think he likes the spotlight out there. He likes it out there.
The bright
So I think
lights.
bright lights. Yep. And Saquon, I think is going to have 75 yards plus rushing, but I think he gets a touchdown. But I think it's a receiving touchdown. So whether it's a screen pass or whether it's one of those wheel routes like they ran in the Super Bowl or against Green Bay, they can do that. They're allowed to, and he can catch the
You
ball
hear
in
that,
those
Kevin?
regards. So, yeah, Kevin, if you're listening, do it, do it. And then the
And
defense,
Nick, if in case he's not listening,
yeah,
Nick, go tell him.
yeah, go
Nick
ahead, Nick.
Foles, that is.
Nick Foles, yeah, go down to the NovaCare complex and tell him, or fly out to LA with him. Who knows? But I think the
Why not?
defense comes up with 2 turnovers. I think Herbert's hand is going to have an impact, whether they want it to or not. I think it's going to have an impact because it will impact the way that he's able to hand the ball off. So, to your point, I think even though Carter's not in there, somebody's going to blitz. Somebody's going to get in there. Maybe it's Nakobe Dean this week, having a chip on his shoulder. Maybe Jahad Campbell actually plays a little more now that Campbell's out. Maybe they rotate some people out and he plays a little more.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to rush him. Somebody's going to get in there, force a couple fumbles, and I think they get a pick too. So I think those are the 2 turnovers.
I like it. And truthfully, I mean, I think a injured with a broken hand or wrist, whatever he broke, Justin Herbert is still better than a healthy Trey Lance anyway. So I think
100%.
they're going
Yeah.
to try to get Herbert to play, even if they got to shoot him up with all kinds of good stuff. He's going to.
Oh, he played the whole second
They're going
half
to
like
do
that, and they
everything they
shot
can.
him up. Yeah, dude, his hand looked like a prosthetic hand in the second half. Like it wasn't moving. He couldn't move a finger. Like every now and then, his one finger would like twitch like this. Like that was it. But like his whole hand was just
Probably
like
just
this.
a nerve.
Yeah, that's probably all it was because he couldn't feel a damn thing. So they'll probably shoot him up and get him out there. But I would be shocked unless it's more of a liability for turnovers because he can't feel. That's the only reason. But I think they put pins and rods in it or something like that. So I think he's fine.
Yeah.
I'll be shocked if he doesn't play.
No, I agree. I mean, obviously, he's my player of the game. So I got Jalen, 250 yards and 2 total touchdowns. I do think one of them is going to be passing. The other one, maybe it's a run, maybe it's a pass. I think Saquon. I think he's going to have another touchdown, 80 yards and a touchdown for Saquon. I do think they're finally going to get it going. I think it's now or never. I mean, essentially, and I think this is the team to do it. The stadium to do it in under the spotlight. Everybody now is talking about how the Lions are back after yesterday's game. I think we might be having the same conversation like, hey, are the Eagles back after seeing this game? And I think it starts with Jalen and Saquon. I think Dallas Goedert's going to have a game. He's been quiet. I think he gets 75 yards. I don't know if he gets in the end zone or not, but I think usually when they say Jalen doesn't throw over the middle of the field or Jalen doesn't do this, it tends to be one of those things. So I look for him to run a lot and use the middle of the field with Dallas. I'm going to go defense here. Jalen Carter's out. These guys been playing well recently. Moro Ojomo with a sack. I think the Eagles get a couple sacks, but I think Moro Ojomo gets one of those sacks you were talking about.
Nice. Hey, do we see Ty Robinson this week? Do we see Ty Robinson make an impact this week at all? Does he play? Probably not. But
I mean, if he's ever going to play, this would be the week for him to play.
Yeah, I mean, they said he doesn't play because of the depth chart at defensive tackle, but I mean, when they drafted him, they said he was a steal. Like, where did we steal him from? Because like it doesn't look like if he can't even sniff the field right now. I don't know if that's something I want to go around bragging that he was a steal, you know. But if he can't play this week
Yeah, so,
and they don't get him on the field, his tenure in Philly might be kind of short lived, you know.
so how does that work then? So because he's not Jalen Carter's not on the IR, he essentially has to be inactive, and they'd have to promote Ty Robinson to take his spot. Then, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
there you go. There's your depth chart to get him
Yep.
at least a couple
Because
snaps.
he's not freeing up a roster spot yet. The only way that they can free up a roster spot on game day is to make Jalen Carter inactive because they're not
Inactive,
putting him on
which
IR. Yeah.
he's right. All right. And then what do you got for a score?
I got the Birds winning, you know, a tight one, a kind of a closer one, but 27-17. I got the Eagles winning. I think they go out there to LA, they right the ship, and you know, it's it's better. It's not as good as what we would hope, but it's better, and they get the win, and you know, they come back home to go up against the Raiders.
Nice. All right. So we talk a lot, and you talk a lot about rose-colored glasses on this podcast and how we keep it real. This could be me putting the rose-colored glasses on, and I'm okay with that. But I think that team was embarrassed on national TV. The only game on when everybody was watching. You had half the people out shopping, the other half were watching the game. They're embarrassed. 2 straight weeks now, they've been embarrassed. I think pride at some point is going to kick in. Uh, and if it doesn't, then who knows where this season's going to go. But I think they come out, they put together a complete game on offense. I think the defense, especially Vic, is like, that's not going to happen to one of my defenses again. He's going to come up with a good scheme. I got them winning 31-13. I think we finally get to that 30-point mark. I think the defense steps up and we remind them we are like what does Denzel say in or the Coach Yo say in Remember the Titans? You make sure they remember forever the night they played the Titans. I think
Yes,
the San Diego. I think the Chargers will remember forever the day that the Eagles came out to L.A. or San Diego or California, wherever they are, on Monday Night Football.
love it. I mean, look,
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it's all in California, whether it's LA or San Diego. Just in case you
it
needed to
is. I
know
know.
that. I didn't know if you
I
knew
used to teach
geography that
geography
much,
too,
but yeah,
so
I was gonna say, I
don't
thought you
mind me.
were,
I used to teach
yeah.
it.
Love it, love it.
It's been a long week, man.
Yeah, I hear you. I
All right,
hear you.
where can everybody find you?
Listen, they can find me on my socials, Twitter, Instagram at Kyle Mott 16, and then you can catch me every week on the Clashing Conferences Network podcast. We do an all members pod over there. We do a couple pods, but the all members pod, all sports. And this week we had Patrick Brady on, bare knuckle fighting heavyweight, former heavyweight champ. He was promoting his upcoming fight in February at Knucklemania 7. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Knucklemania 7. He's going up against a guy named Bear. Dude's name is Bear, bald-headed guy, beard, everything like that. Tagged him on Instagram. They were chatting it back and forth. They're good friends, but like, dude, these guys are straight animals. They beat each other in the face with their bare knuckles, like different element. And then they go home to their 1 year old daughter. Like you're able to flip a switch like that, and then you go home to your 1 year old daughter. I mean, we talked about it before, like when at the Giants game when Scatabo broke his ankle and like then they had to flip a switch and just go back to playing football. Like it's amazing how
Right.
some of these professional athletes can do that. Meanwhile, you know, if I cut my finger at home or see blood at home, I'm like I'm knocked out for the rest of the day. That's it. That's it. I'm done. I can't do anything. So, yeah, you can
Debating
catch
putting
me
you on the
there.
IR.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's absolutely insane. But yeah, kudos to these guys and like it's gonna be fun to go see that match and see that down. And he's a Philly fan. His wife's a big Eagles fan. He's an Eagles fan. So it all ties together, man. It's a small world, but yeah, That's where they can catch me. Where can they find you at, brother? We know what you do every day, so tell
Uh,
everybody.
right. Well, I mean, I've been in a few bare knuckle fights myself, but I don't think I got paid for them. So anyway, every weekday, Monday through Friday, this day in Philly sports history, take a trip down Philly sports memory lane, uh, go on a couple rants and have some fun while we're at it. Any social media at Philly Jimbo. Also, there's about 1 week left. I was over this morning. I dropped off $200 worth of Target gift cards to the Matty Ann Dixon community cupboard. Thank you to everybody who donated. If you haven't yet, we can still donate. I'll make a trip probably back to Target and buy whatever supplies and things with whatever donations come in. But I appreciate it. This QR code. I always forget what they're called. The QR code is on any of my social media. Just scan it. If you need the link, let me know. But I appreciate it. Let's go help some people during this holiday season.
Yeah, it's a great cause. I mean, anything can help. And look, it's the perfect time of year to give back to other people that are a little less fortunate around this time of year. It sucks. This is the worst time of year to be without things. So anything you can, donate, any type of money is fantastic. Any type of food, whatever you have laying around, just obviously scan the QR code, figure it out. I mean, it's real simple. I did the same thing, scan the QR code. It's real easy. So anything and everything is more than enough. It's definitely a good cause.
Listen, $5. You're going to spend more than that on a parlay this weekend anyway. So
Absolute for capital gains, buddy. Capital gains.
love it. All right, brother. Well, now we got to. I don't want to necessarily call it a stress-free football weekend because you're still going to be nervous and worrying about Monday night, but stress-free. So enjoy the weekend. We'll be back next week as we look to the Raiders. But this is the game. They put it back together. They're going to remember forever the night they played the Eagles. Go
And the Eagles
Birds.
remember the San Diego Superchargers. Go Birds.
Love it. Go Birds.